The verse, everything. Okay.
Yeah.
The verse, everything. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Doing that down south Brooklyn crank rock. South Brooklyn crank rock. Yeah. 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 Yeah, say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. Don't think him a really bit of shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. Hit now. You hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, say bucket. Drink, crank, that's all that I ever really do now. I got that vocab in me, and it makes me warm but friendly. But baby, if they cross me, really better hope that you lost me. Because betrayal is costly. It's murky, dirty, mossy. Let's take it down to the algae. Fungus, bacteria, and plankton. So ain't thinking that it's drinking. It's spanking, wanking. Why I be banging in Franklin, unshackling minds and wanking. At them pigs that's eating ribs, strangling the block, just like a rock. Don't stop, make a hot body rock uptown. Get down to the town, fuck around when I come round, blasting round. Rappers know how I get down, bringing that down from Brooklyn sound. For my people in the pound, now you know how I get down, bringing that crank rock Brooklyn sound. Through your stereo, radio, video, laptop, iPod, download, mainframe, maintain. We all in the same gang. When they all come, we all gon' have to gang bang. So it's all the same thing, the same thing. And that's how we do our thing. That's how we all man. I'm not a man saying get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No one think him a really bitty shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. If you hear how clear that bass sound, make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get bucket, crank, bang, bang. That's all that I ever really do now. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No one think him a really bitty shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. If you hear how clear that bass sound, make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get crank, bang, bang. That's all that I ever really do now. When I say Alpha Omega, do that nigga wanna play Sega. And when you meet your maker, will you be able to take her? Deep breath and breathe. Believe and try to retrieve all the reasons that you chose not to be fighting exact and just act racking on that day. Chose to go the other way. Hunting, scoping, controlling, loking. No hoping they illin', always illin'. They listen, it's they eco rappers. See they looking illin', feeling for they blood spilling. That's coming from them killing. But I am willing to trick these raps for my chillin'. So that we all be chillin'. Headlining with the army. That's what we have in common. My skin tone grinding. With a turban like a Brahmin, but I don't work no idol. I'm vital, up the highest title, reptilian rival. I take your title, sacrifice it for a musical, for a musical viral. I'm liable to take my rhymes there. Devil only scared those unprepared, and those not aware, those that just can't get in, those that get in the way of they self when they come to fair. And it don't matter 'cause we are get up to the get down, get up to the get it up, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No, I think him a really bitty shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. If you hear how clear that bass sound, make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get drink, make bank. That's all that I ever really do now. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No, I think him a really bitty shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. If you hear how clear that bass sound, make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get drink, make bank. That's all that I ever really do now. That's all that I ever really do now. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. Gonna talk that shit now.
Peace. You are now into Heru Radio.
The verse, everything. Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Block Talk is acting up today.
yeah, John, they be really going in on us, right?
Yeah.
Really on some bullshit with us. But we here nonetheless. What's up, y'all? You're tuning to another episode of Super Heru Radio. I'm your host, Aseer the Duke, along with my brother, Saad Ali. We just here to give everybody the basic rundown on dark plasma consciousness, as well as those necessary, what we would call currency events, right?
True indeed.
And how they came, you know. How was your week, brother?
I can't complain. You know, some setbacks in there, some, you know, ups and downs and things. But at the end of the day, you keep the eye on the prize, you keep your motivation, and you know that everything happens for a reason. And this has all been preordained even before, you know, we've experienced these things. You know, they were meant to happen.
True indeed. Same thing with us. You know, I'm thankful it got a little warmer up by you as well as down where we are in the bottom. You know, it's got a little warmer, thank God, you know. But things is always as ill as ever. Saying, dealing with all of the crazy stuff that's going on, you know. Well, it seems that since we talked about them using so-called weather manipulation technology, it seems that these niggas is going overboard. They done already hit Turkey. Turkey got one now, you know what I'm saying? Right after Taiwan, you know, so I guess they in the T section now, you know. They going through all the T's, you know. So what is that? So we went from, what, Haiti, Venezuela. Well, no, let's go back. We went from China last year, right?
Yep. During Olympics.
Which was a 6.7. Then from China we went to Taiwan, right? Which at the time was a 6.5. Then from Taiwan, China, there was another one, right?
Yeah, I believe it was somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Okay, so let's say Southeast Asia, they got another one. We don't remember what country, so we can't get the actual Richter scale thing. But boom, okay, so we go from then, and then it was like no earthquakes for mad long, right? Well, other than Michael Jackson getting killed and, you know, those type of earthquakes, but we're talking about specific man-made ones.
Actually, I remember who it was. It was Italy.
Yes, that's right. It was Italy. That's right. Well, so that's Rome. Yeah, that's right. That's right after Obama left. Remember? When he went to Turkey after he left Italy. To Turkey, right? Right after he left Italy, right? Trying to assuage all them damn Arabs that, you know,
going to the Blue Mosque.
So boom. So right after Italy get it, then we don't get nothing else until what? Haiti.
Yep.
So then it was what? Haiti, then Venezuela, then Chile, right? Then what? Taiwan. Now Turkey. Okay. Now the funny thing about that all, man, I'm not saying again that all of these earthquakes are man-made. What I'm saying is that the possibility of them being more man-made is more likely than not. That's where I'm coming from. And I'm not even saying this to give the devil all his power, all this other shit, because he don't really have it. He's just piggybacking on shit. However, I do know and understand that these things that he has been using, or these alleged machines that's coming down the pike to be able to manipulate all this type of stuff or whatever, this is stuff that has already been, a part of our culture for billions upon billions of years. Because when you read a lot of the old texts, like Popol Vuh and things like that, about the destructions of the previous world before this one, it always busts down to some type of weather manipulation, you know, especially when you get into stuff like Casey, when you asked about how Atlantis fell and all of that. Said it was using crystal technology, and it got too hyped with the weather thing, and it just destroyed everything. So the bastards that be is basically trying to do the same thing. And even if they're not, they're putting out enough conjecture out there that the possibility for it to be what it is essentially, you know, what it could be. You know, so I'm not, again, going to go on and say that every earthquake that's coming out right now is man-made. What I will say is that most of them are. You know what I'm saying?
I would agree with that statement.
We should definitely not be naive, people. I mean, Jesse Ventura, right now as we talking, Jesse Ventura is on the damn Larry King show right now talking about HAARP and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Now, you know, he was the one, again, this is the nigga that was in Running Man, you know what I'm saying? It's the nigga that was in the WWE thing, so you already know how to lie and make it look real.
Yep.
WWF, excuse me. Also, this nigga was governor. Also, this is the same nigga that said that if people voted to have slavery reinstated right now, most people would reinstate it. So, and you also got a show to kind of counteract what we've been doing in the conscious metaphysical community, which is dispelling all of the bullshit called conspiracy theory, which happens to be the same name of the Mel Gibson movie of the same name, which happens to be a buzzword that the crackers use, or that modern vernacular has basically employed to kind of downplay the reality of what these potential occurrences are leading to, So we all shouldn't be ignorant of that fact. We should all really take note to what is going on in Norway right now in terms of what they're doing, in terms of protesting and trying to take the United States before the World Court in The Hague about the time loop debacle that went on over there. You can go on YouTube and Google time loop over Norway, and you'll see the actual HARP facility opening up a collapsed, what we would call a collapsed wormhole over the Norwegian airspace, which then basically from that destroyed a lot of the thermosphere, which then made the Earth, or potentially is making the Earth drastically colder than it needs to be right now. So, a lot of these things are going down. I'm doing the knowledge. The Taiwan thing is very interesting also, based on the fact that most of your clothes and everything that you're wearing right now is made in Taiwan. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You got to really think about that. Like, if most of your stuff is made from Taiwan, and Taiwan basically is messed up, then where you going to get new shit from? Yep. Well, they don't necessarily need Taiwanese to do that no more, because the private equity firms have basically outsourced the prison population, where they making Gap clothes and everything now. So as opposed to your label saying made in Taiwan now, they'll probably say shit like made in Sing Sing or made in Oxman, you know what I mean? Made in Quentin type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what the deal is, man. And again, as much as our so-called Caucasian people that's out there that may be listening, your peoples is your peoples, keep it real, that's in control of a lot of this stuff, and y'all niggas is letting these people run them up, man. I don't know. I don't know what y'all going to do, man, but y'all got to really start getting a handle on these people. You got to start going out like homeboy that crashed his plane into the damn IRS building. Yep. You know what I mean? That's the type of white boys I'm trying to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that I'm trying to meet. Like, because really, when you keep it real, what else can they really do? I'm not of the opinion that just because a person is Caucasian or whatever, they automatically out to get me. However, all snakes ain't poisonous, but a snake is still a snake, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I got to approach everything like that. But nowadays, seems like most of the white people is blacks. Mm-hmm. People associate with that. White. Right. So where does that leave people like us? These are the other things in the conscious community we need to start building on. Like, what are we going to do, when all of these niggas start getting outed and, all your so-called leaders, all of the ones that y'all, pay attention to on TV shows and videos and rap this and, all these different shows. Like, what's going to happen when the cats start offering up these people as to say that these are the ones that are selling you out? Yeah. What's the level of involvement? What's the level of involvement that we're going to be able to go to at that point? Are we going to be in a situation where we give these people passes the same way Martin Luther King and the rest of these dudes did? See what that got them. Well, that got Martin with a bullet in the head. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you see and again,
there was not to cut your wisdom, but there was actually a cartoon on last night by T-Pain where the main antagonist was the boule.
Is that right? Yeah. The antagonist, that shit was the boule, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he was a black man. He was a black man that came back from the dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
he's dark matter, and he was dark matter 100%.
He was 100% dark matter and shit, right? He didn't even have a body.
You know, there's a new DVD swirling around, you know, by somebody. I don't know who the brother is, but somebody sent me a link to it last night, and I got a chance to check a little bit of it out. But basically, in the DVD, he's breaking down videos, you know, the Lady Gaga and Beyonce video. He's breaking down some videos by Jay-Z. He's breaking down some things that Obama, he's breaking down how Obama uses Hegelian dialect. Is that what you call it? In double speak? Yeah, he's breaking down that. And how Bill O'Reilly does it as well. So, you know.
I saw that. There's some shit with Sasha Fierce in the title, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you spoke about this a couple weeks back, you know, on Super Heru Radio. And I just wanted to pose the question to you, you know, as well as, you know, some of the listeners, they can, you know, voice their opinion in the chat room. How do you feel as far as now with a lot of the things that, you know, as you mentioned earlier, a little bit earlier, that, you know, the brothers and sisters in, you know, the so-called conscious community have, you know, basically set the groundwork for and have been the progenitors of is now becoming mainstream, but yet the people that are putting it in the mainstream are more so like the custodians of that information, more so than the progenitors of that information. These are like, you know, Johnny-come-lately. Some of these people you don't even know what they're coming out and speaking on, a lot of the things that people in the conscious community have been speaking on for years.
I think it's a problem, yeah. I think it's a big problem because now this knowledge is mainstream, or they're trying to make the knowledge mainstream. That's a means of them trying to disavow it at the same time, almost making it so part of your everyday life that you don't see it as a problem no more. And any people who subscribe to that, especially melanated people, man, don't get to the point where, you know, instead of you supporting the brothers and the sisters that's actually doing productive work in the community, doing DVDs, don't just, you know, don't get to the level where we act like the bootleg shit, where instead of going to see the movie in a real theater, we decide, well, fuck it, I'll just watch the shit on Nat Geo now. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, still, even if you was to watch, like I started noticing this thing going down right around the same time that this guy became president. I started seeing a lot of TV shows and a lot of different people speaking about stuff that we had already, that maybe a year before he became president, people was acting like was totally impossible, totally irrelevant to anything real. Now, because they can't hide the fact that they're lying on everything, they've created a situation where now they have to almost embrace it, which is then even more scarier because then all of the stuff that we have been building on all of these years, when you just see people like Jesse Ventura and these niggas talking about it now, you see what I'm saying? It creates a thing where it's like, okay, there's a certain degree of validation, but then there's another degree of amalgamation as well as another degree of theft going on. Because these niggas don't think that just because these niggas act like they don't pay attention to what, you know, C. Freeman L. or any other masters have been kicking. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, George Carlin used to watch Brother Daoud tapes. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at George Carlin, you know, all of the stuff that he's doing now, if you look back at some of his early work or whatever, and then you look at what Brother Daoud's talking about, a lot of that shit is similar. You know what I'm saying? Because these niggas would come to Harlem and buy tapes or whatever, come to Brooklyn, buy tapes, and then go back and then study that and then try to put that in the past. It's just like I said, we were talking about last week with the electronic of putting the feds on Puffy. You know what I'm saying? Like, things like that are false modes of progress or false signs of progress. You seeing this thing that we're building on that, you know, we be talking about all these years where everybody else is saying we crazy, but then we building on it now. Now that shit is regular shit on Nat Geo, History Channel, you know, Discovery Channel, everything else. When you decide, okay, well, I'm going to watch this, what they say about it, you know what I'm saying, then you get to a point where what they want people to gradually do is stop watching the real DVDs and start watching the fictitious ones that they put in on these network channels. And then what happens is it becomes so inundated, people become so inundated with the information that they get tired of it because now it's become true. See, the devil uses the same tactic every time. during the civil rights movement, he wanted to basically find a way to totally amalgamate it to black people. So as opposed to telling black people that, what he decided to do, or what they decided to do, was exclude black people from his society, which then created a false balance within black people to feel like they needed to be a part of their society. So then they fought to be a part of it, which then created the whole busing syndrome, right? And the busing syndrome led to, the latchkey kids, and then latchkey kids went to the patchwork family, and then the patchwork family went to, you know what I'm saying? It's always the same tactic. So it ain't nothing new what they doing with this shit now. It's just to the point where the fact that everybody is now so plugged into this shit, there's a certain degree of, especially those people that's been doing the knowledge, who's been being called crazy by their family and their peers and shit. I mean, the see Jesse Ventura just talk about this shit now, and then the same people that was calling you that now is watching this show and like, oh shit, what such and such saying was right. Let me get on the knowledge of it now. So again, it wasn't cool unless you seen a white man talking about it. You know what I mean? So it's just like hip hop is the same thing. They did the same thing with hip hop, same thing with rock, same thing with jazz, same thing with everything they do. It's the same shit. They never change tactics. So essentially, they're doing, it's a double-edged sword like everything else in America. It's cool, but if you take too much of it, it'll kill you. Mm-hmm. And that part of American life is getting played out. It seems like everything in this country is leading to jail. Because like if you do anything, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like everything in the society is leading to jail, and people are still acting like they're free. I came up in the time where they were still trying to make people say the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, I'm not advocating the Pledge of Allegiance, but I will say this. When we were growing up, the so-called American people, to me at least, it seemed like there was still a certain degree of cult of national identity, per se. You know what I mean? Where everybody, okay, we say it's Pledge of Allegiance or whatever, everybody think they in a democracy, even though it's a republic. But there was still a certain degree of, okay, this is an American thing, American-made cause, American-made thing, or whatever. After the 90s, after America became a non-government organization, it's to the stage now where it doesn't have its own identity as a nation anymore. Whenever a country is dehumanized to the point where they don't have a national identity, that country is on its way into becoming something else. And that's what we as original people need to understand, especially, we being Moors as the original founders of this place. You have to understand that we are so far removed from, a traditional, let's say, Moorish form of government that to try to instill one right now is ludicrous. It's not going to work because you got too many black people invested in this fiction. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you have black people that's joining the army now, again, every day. Joining the police every day. Joining the National Guard.
And all that now.
Mm-hmm. Straight up gang niggas. And you think these niggas would get in there and do what the crackers do, which is try to basically create situations where they could extort or get money or find a way to flip the system for their own people? No, these niggas get in there and they become the most loyalist motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The most loyalist motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
They be the ones running up more brothers, going in like they wasn't in the streets. Or, you know what I mean? They be the ones trying to really go in and lock you up and beat you up, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, just funny enough, speaking on that, I had an altercation where, a white cop and you know what I'm saying, so-called white cop and a brother, stopped me riding my bicycle. And, while I'm there, the white cop, he rose up on me. And, while I'm talking him down, you know what I mean, the brother's just going crazy. You know what I mean? He just like, nah, we going to take you down. we going to arrest you, just going off. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking, and the white cop is like, nah, leave him alone. Like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Like nah, leave, like, The white cop, after I talk to white cop, then everything is good. But the brother, he's trying to lock me up for doing nothing.
Yep. Part of that is part of the psychological operation that they running with black people. But most of that is based on black hatred. Because I'll tell you this, there's a whole section in the so-called police department, things like that, where these black cops, they have meetings about these black cops that work for them. You know what I'm saying? They have meetings and they talk about, and they have internal things that only the white cops know about. And the black cops know they're being excluded.
Mm-hmm.
But you think these niggas would do anything about it? No.
No.
Because there's a part of them that still have a means of self-hatred that cannot be articulated, meaning that they're not going to kill themselves, so they're going to kill different versions of themselves, kind of like Jet Li in The One. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kill as many versions of yourself so that way you could be the only one standing. You know, that's the same mentality you've ever been around. Those type of black people, when there's mad black people, there's mad Caucasian people around, and then it may be you and like maybe one other black person, and then the black person throw you mad shade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's something intrinsic in these people based on, you know, what we would call Willie Lynchism or whatever, that feels that, you know, they can only be one of some Highlander shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Well, did you tell me something else happened wasn't you telling me something else? Some other crazy shit happened in the news?
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you tell me something else happened in the news dealing with Obama? Excuse me, Barry.
Barry?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things going on right now dealing with Barry.
Oh, specifically, we need to kind of let the people know what's going on with this healthcare thing. What the healthcare, why he's going. It's like he campaigned on, you know, transparency in government and things like that. But again, because our people don't really understand legalese or understand political speak, you know, we think that he's saying that he's going to make the government more open so that way people can see what's really going on here. When everybody in the so-called, the two gangs, the Christian of Bloods, a.k.a. the Republicans and Democrats, they are told they both against this dude now. To the point where the healthcare thing is really just another version of, it's a dummied down version, or it's a way that the establishment per se can continue to outsource these things. Basically what's happening is the insurance companies, right? There's only like maybe 3 main insurance companies around, right? So what Goldman Sachs did recently was they put some shit out that said that Goldman Sachs plans to basically start buying up these insurance companies. You understand? Which would then mean that the insurance broker is basically telling the Wall Street brokers, you know, you need to start investing in insurance companies. So, again, anybody that's into investing or anything like that, if you want to start making cash, if they pass this whole healthcare thing, you may want to get stocks in that, because once they start screwing the people over with the insurance thing, meaning that they're going to start making competitive pricing for elderly citizens, meaning that they're going to have to now go out there 80, 90 years old trying to haggle with insurance companies or whatever for whatever rate they could get. And you know the insurance company, they're going to wait for these dudes to die anyway.
Yep.
So they're not going to give them the right money. And they also know he went from saying that we need health care to do this and this and that. But when you go in, but nobody has read the bill. The bill got almost 20,000 pages in it, yo. Who the hell is going to read that? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, people in the government. Ain't nobody wants to sit there and read 20,000 pages.
Nope.
Now, when Rahm Emanuel is running out of the White House sauna naked, running up on niggas and screaming on them for not voting on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
This is on the news today.
They're trying to out him.
Right. But, I mean, these people knew that his father was part of Mossad. You know what I'm saying? These people know that his brother, Ari Gold, is one of the main guys up in the whole so-called Hollywood or Hollywood situation. Helping black male people, you know, setting up rituals and all of this other stuff. So why would he be any different?
Exactly.
But again, our people didn't care. Yeah, our people didn't care about none of that. You see what I'm saying? Our people were more concerned about him winning, you see. Yet, in him winning, everybody lost. You know what I mean? Yep. And again, I'm not talking about the symbolic nature of who and what he represented as an original man, a.k.a. Black man, dark man, sitting on the throne of the world. Yet, what he is symbolically, based on his duplicitousness as being a so-called, you know, Boule, Freemasonic, Satanist, whatever, is totally different from what his earthly agenda is. And again, our people get so caught up in the fiction that we don't really look at the real cause. What do you think about that, homie?
Well, I mean, that's 100% correct. You know, is one view that we have of him, you know, there's one view of him to be seen, you know, on the microcosm. There's one view of him to be seen on the macrocosm. And, you know, if you look at, you know, his squad, as we would say, you know, if you look at his team, you know, he got the, you know what I'm saying, he got the Legion of Doom running with him. You know, he running with the Legion of Doom. Everybody that he got rolling with him is basically got locked in and geared up for, you know, everybody else's demise, you know, for mainly original people. You know, they're going in, you know, they're talking about even what's this documentary guy's name? Michael Moore is talking about, you know, he wants to take Rahm Emanuel's job. You know, they're calling for you know, the ousting of Rahm Emanuel. Like, his cabinet is basically falling before your eyes, you know, and this is just the people that we're seeing on the forefront, that we're just seeing that, you know, these things that happen to them, you know, through you know, the media. We're not. This is totally different from the people that on the behind the scenes is getting clapped out. They're missing, you know, not seen anymore. They just gone. You know, that's the other level of it that, you know, a lot of people don't really know about. You know,
and then based on the fact that, again, there is no money, they've got to now convert a lot of their money into foreign currency, but they're not telling the American people that they're doing that. You see, so on a physical level, on a material plane, they're basically setting the stage for an inward type of, instead of an explosion, it'll be more like an implosion. Because they gotta maintain, because this war that they need to pop off in South America, this quiet war that they're doing, has to go under the radar from what they thought they're doing in Iraq and Iran and everywhere else. Which is why the earthquakes are perfect. Because, again, it's a means of warfare through humanitarian aid. You know? So the more natural disasters, the more the United States has to deploy different troops. But at the same time, the more internally the United States is stressed and is unprotected. Therefore, this explains why your man Barry made that call to the president of Germany to start talking about bringing troops and stuff over here. You know. But again, at the same token, they've been over here, because we've been talking about this thing since 2005. You know, them sending former soldiers to train in the urban police departments. That's why you started seeing a upsurge of different so-called minority groups being a part of the police. Like when I was coming up, I never saw a Chinese policeman, even in Chinatown. I never saw him. I never saw a Jewish policeman with a yarmulke. I never saw an Indian policeman, Pakistani policeman, you know. But it just so happens, right, when they popped this thing with the Pakistani government, then now I'm starting to see all these Pakistani and Indian and Hindi cops. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But again, I'm only seeing them in the hood. You know, if other people are seeing them in their neighborhoods and stuff, let me know. Half these dudes don't even speak English. You know? They just be the silent one, while the American cop is shaking you down and everything else. They observing how you need to do it.
Yeah. You're watching the mannerisms and how you hold a burner. You know, when you roll up on the dude, how you shake him down. You know, how you back away and shoot him. You know, especially if you talk
how you see the flash of metal.
Yep. How you spot the wallet. You know. Or even worse now, you know, these sodomizing brothers, you know. These sodomizing another brother, they got off out here, you know.
Then your man Barry is going also will go down in so-called history as the first American president to declare a month in commemoration of LGBT Americans. For those that don't know that, that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. So June is now their month, which is funny that it would be June because that's the J month before the Jason months start, which is January, August, September, October, November. Those months are the height in so-called ritual sacrifice. You know what I mean? That's when they really go in terms of ritualistic murder and that type of stuff. So it's funny that they choose that. They choose the homosexual thing as a means to usher in that cycle, you know. Another funny thing I peeped. So again, just to wrap it up, the healthcare thing is definitely, it's another form of the euthanasia, Hitler Youth type programs, you know. And again, you know, you're going to have people that come out and say, no, it's not like that, it's really about this. But again, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. People was not thinking about healthcare until this dude just brought it out the ether, said this is what the problem is. This man, uninsured American. So then everybody was like, what are you talking about? What about the war? And the unemployment, that's what people are more concerned about. So then the people was like, well, we don't care about that. So now what he's saying is, well, what we need to understand is that those Americans that are insured in terms of health care, have their own health care plans or whatever, they are going to have to pay more in their coverage, you know what I'm saying, to maintain the programs for those people that aren't, which is then making it even more crazy, you know. So it's not a good look either way, you know, and if it passes, you know, well, what people should look for also in the days to come before, you know, they roll on it or whatever, to see if any senators resign, if any senators wind up dead, if any senators wind up in a car crash or, you know what I mean, look for stuff like that and see what type of senators they are, if they're Republicans or Democrats. Because technically both of them are against them on this right now, which is unheard of. See what I'm saying? So, you know, look out for that, because 10 chance to 1, those people that's not towing the line is probably going to get dealt with. You know what I mean? So, you know, pay attention. Another thing, your man Sean Carter and Governor Patterson just got subpoenaed.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? This nigga's going to have to going to have to sit on that stand, testify. So look out for that. You know, I find that
remix after it's done.
right. Look out for the remix, right? You gonna do an album about it. But so, you know, we need to pay attention to that, because then this is now not just See, it's not just Sean Carter on however this plays out. It's not just him, it's hip-hop. See what I'm saying? Because remember, he's the so-called king of it, so whatever they do to him. Speaking of that, the Prince, they just locked him up today.
Lil Wayne?
Mm-hmm. He finally went in. You know, so allegedly they're probably gonna let him out though in like, they say 8 months, but I'm thinking like 4 or 5.
I don't know time to release the album.
Yeah, they ain't really gonna, and then he's not gonna be in general population. You know, so you know we'll see. But again, I believe on a spiritual level, that's all of the energy of the people, or at least the people, because it happened 3 times. You know, I mean, the second time the jailhouse caught fire, you know. And then you know he's the fireman, and he just came out with "She's on Fire." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People need to do the analysis, stuff like that. Then in is this bitch crazy news? Beyonce, with the help of Mayor Doomberg and Tina Knowles, is trying to open up a place of an institution of higher learning for young black women in the New York, or let's say Brooklyn community.
Phoenix House? Whatever it's called, something
in association with the Phoenix House, you know. So, you know, as opposed to her, and when I say higher institution, you know, you would think it's a school, and it is a school, but as opposed to being some type of school dealing with, you know, music or business or anything like that, it's a cosmetology school. Because according to Beyonce, the beauty salon is where black women get together and bond and...
Oh, it's the female version of the barbershop.
Yeah, discuss worldly events, you know.
So they need more.
So again, yeah. So we need another. So what we need another beauty salon. You know, we need another cosmetology school for black women to fry their hair and put gobs of chemically infused pork lard in their face. You know. Speaking of which, since we're talking about cosmetology, in New Jersey, there's 6 women in New Jersey, 2 women in Brooklyn, 1 woman in Manhattan. All have had to have emergency surgery because of their ass injections that they got. And what they found was they injected these women's behinds with caulk. Basically caulk. You know, the same grout that you have in your bathroom. Yeah, allegedly caulk, you know, as opposed to the traditional silicone that they put in your behind now. So, again, let's keep it real. And everybody all of a sudden wanted these big asses because in rap videos, black women with the biggest asses were the ones you looked at the most. The bigger the ass, the bigger the space for the skull of the child to form. Therefore, there is a base nature as to why we as human beings are attracted to the gyration of the black woman, but there's also a celestial symbolic reason as to why we're attracted to that. Because, again, that is where potentially we perform, whereas Caucasian women who have no asses up to receive, no Nassatol, right? Caucasian women with Nassatol, they who are afflicted with Nassatol, their babies, when they form, the skulls of those children don't have as much space. Therefore, the top of the cerebellum is usually scraped behind the coccyx bone of the Caucasian woman, as well as the fact that bone is more dense, based on the fact that when they used to have tails, you know what I mean, the bone has to have a certain dexterity to be able to maintain that. So now that the tail is gone, the bone is basically just grows into itself, so it's even that much more thicker in that section. So again, the Caucasoid baby, or you know, the black man's baby that's growing in that woman, has that problem, that what they call brain stem scarring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're saying then, by saying all of that, is that everybody wants the black woman's ass. You know what I'm saying? We've given now on Super Heavy Radio, we've given the real reason, but the base reason is, because that shit is next level when it comes to sex. See? So now all other women now, because the black woman, again, is the archetype of femininity all over the world, they are now trying to emulate her without giving her the respect. And she is not even under the mind state to understand what's happening. It started with the lips, right? Then it went to the breast. Started with the breast. Then it went to the lips, right? Then it went to the behind, But all of this is post hip hop generational, because prior to the hip hop generation, the phenotypical white woman was the one like the Linda Carter type, who's a freak on the low or whatever, but she seems to be put on this pedestal based on her just being Caucasian. So now that all these other women now are trying to become the black woman at all costs, they're literally killing themselves by injecting themselves with caulk and silicone. And I also heard one doctor used like putty, like a clay. You know what I'm saying? I've seen shit where this woman, I saw this thing where they had this black woman where she went and got her breast done, and then after surgery for like a year later, she just always had this nasty smell, and she didn't know what the shit was. They went back and they opened her up and found out the nigga left a sponge in her. And it was rotting. And the silicone was falling into the sponge, and the whole breast was rotting out, so she had to get a mastectomy. You see what I'm saying? So, again, men like breasts, big breasts or whatever, but really keep it real. Men will deal with what you got. You know what I mean? All of this cosmetology, all of this stuff or whatever, all of this agenda is if you were a man and this man wants you to have a certain type of body for, the next 80 years, 90 years, you don't need to be with that man because he's insane. Because nobody can maintain a natural body in that way, because the body is meant to go through its seasons, So, again, everybody, the black woman, this proves then that the black woman is the archetype of femininity, but again, she is not on her throne, and she's not claiming what she rightfully deserves in terms of putting these businesses. Put it like this. If Eve was a great rapper, right, and then when she did the record with Gwen Stefani, right, every video Eve did after that, she was Gwen Stefani. You see what I'm saying? But Gwen Stefani needed Eve, but by Gwen Stefani working with Eve, she got all of Eve's hardcore hip-hop girls as fans. See what I'm saying? Whereas Eve lost fans. Yeah. The same fans that Gwen Stefani got by fucking with Eve lost in the same instant.
Yeah. And when Stefani began rapping, and Holla Back Girl and all those types of tracks started to come out after that.
Right. And Eve's music got progressively worse. Yep. See what I'm saying? To the point where that bitch she can't not wear a blonde wig.
She can't not be with a white man.
She can't not be. And it's always the same one walking the same way, holding her same hand with her head looking down. Like, you got to look at that, too. Like, when you look at pictures of celebrities, look at the people around them. Look and see if it's the same dude. There's one guy that's around her all the time, this white guy. You never see him anywhere else other than on her left side, over her left shoulder. You know what I mean? Trying not to be peaked. You know what I'm saying? These are handlers. Everybody that's in the situation got a handler. And these handlers work for programmers, and those programmers work for controllers. And those controllers have us those controllers are slaves to masters. And that's how the system works. You know, so on Vanity News, that's what's happening to y'all women. So look out. Think twice before you get that boob job. Think twice before you go get that ass adjustment. If you really need it that bad, they got fake behind stuff on TV now. These type of panties where you could just buy and make your ass look big. Like it's to that level of the game.
But the sisters already got it, you know. If they, you know, decided to, if they shifted the energy, like, you know, just like as you made the reference with Eve and Gwen Stefani, look at Coco, look at Kim Kardashian, you know, look at even Jennifer Lopez. You know, she was kind of like one of the first ones to kick that off. When the sisters was running away from that, you know, he was running away from the Venus hot and tight. He was running away from that natural, you know, curvaceous beauty that they was born with. Oh, now everybody else is running to that.
Yeah, and the sisters is not even doing the knowledge. It's like, how is it that this white girl's getting all of this ass and you losing all of yours? What's the deal with that? And how is, okay, you think you coming up with this white dude. You think you do it on, like Paula Patton, that's another one. She whenever she do a movie with a black man symbolically, she's dead. Idlewild, she was dead. Deja Vu, she was dead. See what I'm saying? Both with a black man. But then when she do movies with Kiefer Sutherland, you know, mirrors and things like that, she's alive, you know, although she's tormented. So recently I was reading something in a paper and she was talking about how she, you know, she don't like what people be on, so she's mixed shit. That mixed shit don't exist. You know, she's a black woman and that's what it is. You know, people should accept that. And other people, her complexion, should accept that too. So I'm like, okay, great. It's real great. You could be pro-black with this white baby, this white nigga baby. And it's like they always want to be mad black when they so obviously are the opposite. And that's what I mean about not getting caught up on what somebody's telling you. Look at what the person or what the situation is presenting around that person. Because a person can say anything, yet what they do. And when I say person, I'm talking about the people who, let's say 85%, who don't know that they are corporations, as well as the 5% who believe that they are conscious when really they are just another form of enslavement. That type of slave that think they're free because they got a certain degree of knowledge. And I don't mean the literal 5% as a 5% nation. I'm talking about 5% of the population that has a certain degree of knowledge that this shit is fucked up. You know? Yet at the same level, how many white people or people who believe that they are white, you know, how many of them are willing at all costs to stop their own people, so-called white people around them, from doing crazy shit to the point of, again, crashing a building into the IRS, crashing a plane into the IRS building, or some reverse 9/11 shit.
Yep.
Nah, even in that movie Bug, I don't know if anybody's seen it. Whoever didn't see it should see it. That movie Bug, at the end when they realized what was really happening to them and what they were a part of, the only thing they could do was kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't go out. They couldn't tell nobody because all they could do was get rid of themselves. And I don't know nobody ready to do that. You know? It'd be one thing if you adopting all these black babies and you giving them the real knowledge of what your people did and preparing them to go back to their own black people with the real knowledge of who they are. But you ain't going to do that. Because then you would have to have them around people like us. You know what I'm saying? And you can't even acknowledge people like us exist.
Yep. You know, that's not happening. You know? So then they grow up all confused and everything, and then that causes, you know, a whole bunch of problems like what we deal with now. You know, with a lot of, you know, brothers and sisters that are confused and, you know, tormented by, you know, different types of demons and, you know, lack of understanding from who, you know, it's like they're overly pushed in certain types of cases where they have to prove, you know, their, you know, so-called blackness. Or then they're the complete opposite of that. They're the complete 180. You know, they're like, oh, well, you know, I got this color and everything, so, you know, that makes me cool. But yet, you know,
I hate all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just like I like the perks that I get for looking like this.
Right. And that's very pervasive in the so-called black community. I notice what they call Black America is this thing that we'd rather look like we really doing the work than really be doing it. Like, you can't be, like, if you're really researching and you're really doing stuff, you're really reading, going in, you can't be seen by people all the time. You know what I'm saying? It just don't work. Like, you can't be, like, if every 5 minutes you putting something up on the net, then, like, that's next level. Like, you gotta slow down. You know what I mean? You gotta not flood people with information, because even if it's new information, if it's coming from a state where it seems like it'll come off redundant, and the people won't appreciate it, because it's like, if you're really doing all of this knowledge, it's like, then how are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes me a minute to prepare for lectures or whatever. It's like it takes time to do certain things, and a lot of times people think it's more about the entertainment value, because there is an entertainment value to anything that you're doing with the public. Oscar Wilde said, if you tell the truth, make them laugh or they'll kill you. You know what I'm saying? So there's a certain degree of, and he was the first person in history they tried for homosexuality. The secret homosexuals in the British Parliament was trying him for being an open homosexual. And that's the same thing going on today. The same people in legislation, like there's a senator right now that's being caught up. He's one of the senators caught up with the Vatican thing that came out recently. I don't know if you heard, where the Vatican dude who was running the choir was running the male sex prostitution ring for the Bishop Balducci, from the Balducci family. Who the Balducci's go all the way back to the times of Granada with El Cid. El Cid was, at the time when we was losing power in places like Spain, El Cid was an individual at first, but then it became more like a mantle that a particular type of Spanish knight would attain after he produced X amount of Moors' heads. They were called Moor slayers. So anyway, this guy in our time is caught up with the senator who's caught up on some gay shit. But this gay senator who just came out based on the scandal with the Vatican and all that, just since for the past 30 to 50 years, he was voting against all types of gay shit. Anything gay, he was like, nah, I'm not with it. So again, they warring within themselves, even within that. The open ones against the closed ones, So there are all these different wars going on, Speaking of wars, in the war to attain the rights over New Orleans since the Katrina thing with the power company, an exec, I forget his name, some white man, of the nation's leading energy company has been missing since he went to a business dinner. This nigga gone. They said no activity on the credit card, no nothing. This dude just vanished, which then leaves the deal that he was about to go into with these niggas in limbo. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is all part of the human resource section of whatever corporation anybody listening they work for. Human resources is not just, who funnel the paychecks. That's also dealing with the corporate espionage as well. What also called mergers and acquisitions. Also with the money, going back to the money, look at what's going on in Europe, specifically in Greece right now, because they're about to lose their currency based on messing with the EU. which then proves that anybody dealing with the EU specifically is going to wind up being a default nation like the United States. So Greece is the first to go. The next one going to be Portugal. The next one after that going to be Italy. The next one after that going to be everybody but Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? The Nazis ain't losing their money. You know what I'm saying? Britain going to be the last. But remember what happened in World War II. Right before the whole shit popped off, Europe went into a financial collapse based on them trying to invest money into this League of Nations bullshit, funded by the IMF, and the WWF, the World Wildlife Fund. And then that led to the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand, who was sacrificed to then usher in the war. So, niggas don't read, so it's going down again. So get ready. It's just going to be different players. So if there's some big assassination pops off in Europe, they already had one where it started off with 11 people in the assassination that they all had pictures of that actually worked for the Mossad, right? That were also who had Israeli passports, right? Of Israeli citizens that's already alive, that was in Israel when the hit went on. Then they now blew it up to now 56 people involved with the shit. And a lot of them are MI5 and CIA. So again, the real governments of the world, or the real government of the world, or what people will call the one world government or the new world order government, are all the intelligence agencies of the world and their handlers. You see what I'm saying? Who dictate our power. Right. Those dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the one. So based on that, this war against Israel is a problem, and if the European Union collapses, that's it. That we're therefore mortgage-backed securities, which are people in jail, and the bonds that are attached to them are now affected, meaning that they're trying to transfer those bonds to foreign or international accounts now, which is why, coincidentally, Obama is talking about shutting down Guantanamo, but in the process, moving the prisoners into international facilities, you see? So they got to put you whoever, if they buy a bond in Albania, then they got to move the person's body to Albania to sit out the length of the bond. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, this is happening coincidentally, but nobody's putting it together in the framework of how it pertains to us. Again, they got prisoners making Gap clothes. They about to start, now that Valentino's gone, the corporation that took him over, Primera, they own prisons, and they're about to start making Valentino shit in prison. So now all the gay dudes, all the open queens in jail now is going to turn into fashion designers and shit. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like that's the bullshit. Like I got to go to jail to be a designer. Like what kind of shit is going on?
But it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So to exacerbate that, another crane collapsed in New York.
Yeah. And the dudes was getting hit up with manslaughter charges for the one that dropped in 2008.
See, coincidentally, right around the time they sentencing the dude, now another crane collapsed. So again, how can it just be him?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When the same shit happening. That's like if you get tried for murder and they about to kill you, and if somebody else killed somebody the same way allegedly you killed them right before they try to kill you. It's like that same type of ritual. Well, down here in Florida, they started python hunting season.
Really?
You get a license to hunt pythons out here. You know what I'm saying? Which again, python, typhon. You see what I'm saying? Same energy. So, out here, them shits grow like like 20 feet. You know, so they're more danger, I think, though, to the ecosystem out here more so than the people, but still, you know. But again, this is biblical shit because it's talked about in Revelation. I talked about how the serpents that grew in serpents that weave through the grass and the wetlands of the earth. That's Florida. That's here right now, you know.
Mhm.
A bull broke out of a pen and gored 3 people. A week after the whale bodied that shit.
Mhm. Need to leave those animals alone, man.
Are they fighting back, man?
Yeah. You know, you playing killer whales in zoos and all that. You know, playing around with the whale, and they're gonna make excuses. Oh, she did this, she did that. If any of the listeners seen the video, if they get a chance to see the video, that killer whale knew exactly what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you watch the video, you can see he knew exactly what he was doing, and he did it purposefully.
You know how big a whale's brain is, man? Them things, you know how big a dolphin's brain is? Like, them things are so smart, man. However, you know, they don't have guns. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They can't fight that white man like that, so they got to use what they got, you know?
Exactly. They got them in their natural habitat.
Yeah, they can't kill them. And that whale that killed that lady, killed, like beat up a dude like a year before that. So he was already prone. He was like, nah, I ain't fucking with these white people.
Yeah, you're not with him. You know?
You know?
He shook Shorty up. He made her think that she was going to get out the water because she got right to the ledge, and then he grabbed her, and that's when he took her under and drowned her. You know? Leave the animals alone. You know, it's only when, you know what I'm saying, certain types of individuals get into, you know, groups and whatnot. They want to open things like zoos and water parks and aquariums and things like that, you know. They want to dig up our ancestors' bones and see what type of clothes they wore and check their carbon dating and all that type of stuff and put them in some type of museum and things like that. You know, they ain't doing that to their ancestors. They're doing that to our ancestors.
Right now, you try to go up in there in Lincoln's tomb right now. People don't know that when Lincoln died, somebody stole the body. The Mason stole the body and shit and was about to bring it back. And they did rituals and shit on it, and they finally got it back, and then that's when they brought it to the tomb where it is now. But you go right now, try to open up Lincoln's body and dig it up, talking about you want to check his teeth filings and shit. See what they do. See what they do. Only they could do that because they are the so-called, or have made themselves the gate. Excuse me, we have allowed them to occupy the space as gatekeepers of that realm. So they playing their position because they know if we do it. Like, speaking of which, the pythons I was talking about, specifically, there's only 3 types down here. It's the Burmese, which is Myanmar, which is black Asian python. Then there's the Indian, that's Dravidian, that's black. And then there's the African. So, again, they're hunting Burmese, Indian, and African python. So the snake is a symbol of the Kundalini. Symbolically, them hunting these pythons and shooting them and killing them is a means of trying to lower the physical representation of that from affecting the morphogenetic aspect of it within us.
Yeah. They just they're going through a civil war right now in Nigeria where the Muslims in the north is killing up the Christians in the south and vice versa. You know?
Because the thing is, the Muslims are cool with the Chinese. And the Christians are working with America. And we talked about on, I think, the second show how all of the wars in Africa going on are really just covert wars between the United States trying to keep China out of Africa because the Chinese are trying to find ways to amalgamate in black DNA into their genetic gene pool based on all the genetic and organ harvesting and all that crazy shit they've been doing in China for the past 50 years. It's basically got them to the point where the society, like people forget that China is a totalitarian regime. You understand? These people kill people every day. There's government ordinances that you can only have a certain amount of kids. All of that shit, and they have what they call favored nation status, which means that they are looked at above other nations based on how many of their own citizens that they kill. See what I'm saying? So the United States is using that as a model, which is why they're trying to use all their money. That is not to say that all Chinese people are down with that, but it is to say that that's their government. So if y'all niggas ain't stopping it, don't get mad at me for talking about what y'all ain't doing.
You
know what I'm saying? You ask a person that's just coming from China right now about Tiananmen Square, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about. This whole aspect of the internet. This parts of the internet that if you go to, these people will show up at your crib, or they'll send reverse frequencies to fry your computer and shit. You know, this part of the internet that connect to other internets in other Earth, in other planets and shit like that. You know, yet, you know, we think that Bill Gates and these people created this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people talk about the Akashic Records, but they don't understand how much of everything that is, or that encompasses, you know. Like, also, they were saying that 2 out of 4 people says that they feel that the iPhone is an extension of their mind. What do you think about that?
You know, funny enough, I was building with a brother about this a couple of days ago. You know, what I was saying, because I was actually, you know, on the move, you know, on my bicycle, just getting some exercise and whatnot. And I just seen, you know, something had, like 2 things happened right, you know, back to back. One thing was, you know, the so-called white woman and her daughter just walked directly out into the street right in front of me. You know, I almost hit them. You know, they didn't look, you know, I know, like, when I was a kid, I'm sure a lot of listeners, when they were children, you know, their parents told them, look both ways before you go into the street. They did none of that. They just walked right into the street. Now, I'm on a bicycle. If I was in a car, it would have been a wrap. You know, they would have been finished. You know, so now as I you know, dip out of their way real quick and, you know, give them a few parting words of peace, and I keep on going about my business, you know, a brother does this now. But the brother, you know, these so-called white people, they was just acting like that. You know what I mean? They were just, you know, because, you know, naturally they feel they have dominion. But this brother, he was actually on his iPhone. You know, he's just looking down at his phone, and he just walks into the middle of the street, you know. So now when he does this, you know, I stop my bike, and I'm like, yo, brother, you know, watch out. And they, like, and he, mind you, he's zoned out. Like, he's zonked out of his mind. He got the earphones on. He's directly in his phone, and he's just walking, you know. And I was speaking with a brother, and I said this to him. I said, you know something, before, you know, so, you know what I'm saying, before original people started getting their hands on these types of things, the iPhones and the Blackberries and, you know, all these other types of gadgetries and whatnot that we are now acquiring, you know, before we dealt with those things, you know, for the most part, we was on point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could never really catch, you never really heard about some brother walking in the street or some sister walking in the street of a major city getting mowed down by no bus because they didn't see the bus. You didn't hear about these things. But now, since we started to jack into the system that they are using, you know, we are getting the same things that they get. Now you're hearing about brothers getting mowed down by buses, getting hit in the street because they jacked in. They're not even in the real world. They're in the virtual world. They on YouTube. They on whatever else they on with the phones. They texting. They Twittering. All these different things. You know, they, like, if you go up to about 5 people right now in any major city between the ages of, I say, about 18 and, you know, 35, and you ask them, name me 3 things you couldn't live without. Some sort of handheld device that connects to the internet will be one of them.
You're right. You're right. People can't imagine a world without a CD player. People can't imagine a world without a television. can't imagine that type of shit. So, again, we are the last generation, our generation is the last to remember music before hip-hop. So we were the last generation to truly experience organic technology. And we preserved it in the form of the music, which is why the music had to be corrupted and turned into a military application. But another stock tip, anybody, for what it's worth, Cisco Systems right now is really hot, and you want to put some dollars into that, because these niggas is about to come out with a 1 gig per second computer.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? This all goes back to what I talked about in a lecture. Anybody can go on my website and get it. It's called Black Nazis. And I talked about the black hole computers that they basically implement. And this is the first phase of this type of technology. It's also called flat space technology. If anybody saw the movie Ultraviolet, it's the ability to scramble the molecules of a solid-based organism or solid-based immaterial object and fold it to where it almost becomes flat. So imagine being able to have a pencil, hold it to your chest, push it into your chest, but it not actually go into your chest. Just the tip of it is sticking out, and then when you pull it out, the whole pencil comes back out. So the same principle is then applied to the computer in this 1 gig per second shit. So that means, again, if you think of something, when you think of what you want to see, it's already on your screen.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they slowly doing that now,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they see brothers and sisters see that.
Stuff like that. Stuff like that is what people need to start really needing. If you're going to invest in anything, invest in the stuff that these white folks need to keep their system going. Because the more money you can pull through that and use for a spiritual basis, the more you destroy the same system. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you just invest in it to then get another 401k and set up a retirement plan, after you do your 41 years at the plan or whatever, which nowadays is totally not even feasible. You're lucky to not only get a job, but just to be able to, as soon as you get the job, you got to almost start looking for the next one just in case the one you got starts flipping up. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have to tell you that their company is about to lose or about to close or whatever. They'll just bring you in there to do all the work because the real workers already know what was coming down and they bounce.
Yep.
So they'll just use you in there for slave labor real quick and then not even pay you after.
Yeah. That just happened with a big restaurant, out here in New York where they knew it was closing up. But, they just stay open, working, stay open late hours and whatnot, working the workers half to death. And then when time came, workers kind of going to work for Monday and they see the joint closed down, talking about the business is closed. They gone. Your check is in the mail, as they say.
Exactly. Nothing is promised to you in this fictitious system, so you got to start looking for other avenues to start flipping, flipping what it is you can get and turn into something that you can use to stuff with, And then to just wrap all of that up, there was a freak snowstorm in the French Riviera, but these niggas under like 2 inches of snow. Okay? Nowhere. You know what I mean? They harping everybody, yo. Mm-hmm. This thing is real because what people don't know is that since the beginning of last year, there's something called the South Atlantic Anomaly. And the South Atlantic Anomaly has been growing ever since then. And what it is, essentially, is a point in which the magnetosphere of the planet is totally gone. And it is opening rapidly. And since then, they've been sending a lot of ships and stuff to that quadrant of the sea to try to study it. But a lot of these ships, some of them have turned up missing. Nobody can find them. Another aspect of that was a couple of weeks ago, months ago, there was a crash of a plane called Flight 447. I forget what airline, but it crashed due to the South Atlantic Anomaly. There's no magnetic field there, so that means that this huge amounts of cosmic energy and cosmic radiation pouring through that section And because there's no way to repair it, it's getting bigger, and it's disrupting the magnetosphere, everything else, as well as the tectonic plates, which is why, again, I think they can use the thing to such frequency now because of all of the magnetic and electronic stuff that is disrupted by this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you start hearing about blackouts and things like that, and again, this is all around South America. You see what I'm saying? So, again, we can now also speculate that the war that they want to pop off right there is a means for them to get closer to that, to have a land base in South America where they can study that or try to figure out how they can try to manipulate that to no end, which ain't going to work. So, you know, it's getting progressively crazier. There's images of the South Atlantic anomaly online that people can go and check out. But essentially it's a magnetic disruptor field that's it's almost like a living EMP full of cosmic radiation that's been getting bigger. There was a smaller representation of this anomaly that exists that people call the Bermuda Triangle. But this one is like the Bermuda Triangle, like on coke. You know what I mean? You wanna play your joint, man?
Yeah. So we're gonna get into a joint and then come back and open up the phone lines, you know, once again. I'm gonna get into a joint that I actually have up for free download on my blog. If the brothers and sisters wanna, you know, download and check it out. I recorded this track, you know, about 6 to 8 months ago. You know, shout out to the brother Hanif, you know, he helped me with some things with it, you know, and you know, I have a little video of that up on my YouTube, and it's been getting a lot of hits and whatnot, a lot of views, a lot of brothers and sisters like it. You know, the name of the track is Black, you know, and I'm not gonna be dogmatic and get into a whole dissertation, you know, on that, but let's just let music speak for itself, and we know the different types of understandings of who we are and what we are in different types of ethics where we use our own words and other words of power. So we're going to get into this joint Black and then open up the phone lines and, you know, keep it moving. You know, rocking with Super Heru Radio, everybody.
Super Heru Radio.
In about Black. 2 to 3 minutes to be Black.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black and the green around me. For in the new life I shall rise up with God's grace and blessing to lead the millions of the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there's a storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life.
Yeah. My black, you my black queen. Beautiful black skin, you bring my black children. Help me out of any jam I'm in. Assad is born with Uncle Sam again. Black moon, black stars, watching out for white DTs, traveling in black cars. Rappers talk about spinning up they black cards, but have a problem believing in a black God. Heru, black manger. White death follows your white savior. The triple black got my back. Way before Obama, my president was black. Black Chuck, black jeans. Get my black empress, my black seed. After puffing on some black weed, my black TV got a black box. Who gon' win the World Series? I'm hoping the Black Sox. My melanin. 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 My melanin.
That was dope, son.
Yes, yes.
That's what I'm talking about. My melanin. That's really, really what it's about. You know what I mean? And
Indeed, true indeed.
that's what it is. I like that.
All right, so we're gonna open up the phone lines. You wanna call in? The number is 347-637-1184. Just raise your hand, and we will open up the line for you. So I see we got our first hand raised. 310. You're rocking with Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Peace, peace. Peace to the brothers. How y'all doing, man?
Peace, brother. How are you, King?
Doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm calling out in Compton, man. It's Big RJ, man.
All right. Thanks for the support, brother. That's my brother.
Yes, sir.
Brothers and sisters.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Definitely. Enough respect. Hey, man, I got a question for y'all, all right?
What's up?
Okay.
Man, I'm trying to do the knowledge on, okay, we all know about Napoleon when he went to Kemet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always hear the infamous story of how he blew off the nose of the Sphinx and everything, right? But I've been doing the knowledge and everything. I didn't know they actually had a battle called the Battle of the Pyramids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to know, now, I went to the Wikipedia, but I'm trying to get to the bottom line of it. Is there a Moorish connection within that? You know what I'm saying? Because looking at the little photos that they got, you could tell that they were fighting a dark-skinned type people. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know it's connected to the Ottoman Empire, but what's the Moorish connection within that battle?
Okay. That's a good question, brother. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir.
Napoleon was born on an island called Corsica. That island was founded by a Moorish dynasty called the Grimaldi's that descend from a Moorish queen called Europa, which is the oldest so-called monarchy in so-called Europe. They are the founders of the so-called Holy Roman Empire, right? That ruled the Moors that ruled over the Roman state that we don't hear about. So Napoleon, if you look at the flag of Corsica today, you know it's a black or Moor's head. So the Monarchin, the family that ruled that was called the Monaco, right? The Monaco comes from over here. The connection with that is the Monarchin, which shows a connection to the 13 state or 48 state 13 zone empire that existed from Alaska to Chile. That the crackers called the Continental Congress, or also the Iroquois Confederacy. So they were funding a lot of that money that Napoleon was using to get over into Europe to get to power. Some of that money came from over here in those Moors. So when he got to Europe, because he was, let's say, a mulatto and not a Caucasoid, right, which is why you always see him in the red admiral clothes, because he represented, let's say, the red side of the family. So when he went there, he was basically trying to fulfill a certain destiny based on a lot of the trying to bring the black occult Comesian connection to Europe, because up until then it had been blocked from them by the Osmanli Empire, also known as the so-called Ottoman Empire, which after the traditional Moorish Empire was falling into decline, the Ottoman Empire stepped up to hold the slack. The Ottoman Empire was comprised of, in the beginning, mostly dark Moors, right? But towards the later aspect of the empire, they were a mixture of what you would call Mamluks, which is another way of saying Caucasoid or Slavic blood, white Arabs who were slaves of dark Moors, right? And they made up the bulk of the so-called Christian forces that Napoleon was using against the traditional darker-skinned Moors and of the empires that went further back towards, let's say, Morocco. So when he was the only reason why he was able to claim Egypt for as long as he did was the fact that he had the blood from the Grimaldi or which then showed that he was the heir of, you know, the grand throne, not just the puppet throne that was being set up for Caucasoids by those Moors that still wanted to maintain their power but couldn't, based upon the oath that they took to bring these people up into their family.
Wow, okay. Or else he couldn't have filled up in there, right?
Right, and the same shit is going on. So, really, Napoleon and Toussaint were just, they were Masonic brothers, per se, right? But the ideology behind them was very different. But Toussaint was more of about maintaining dark-skinned Moorish black liberty, right? But still using aspects of European society, right, to distinguish itself, as opposed to just adopting the traditional stuff that was already going on the island from centuries before that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Thanks for calling, man.
Peace, peace.
Peace, King.
Peace. Okay. We got another caller, 704. You're rocking with Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Peace. Yes, peace.
Peace. Yeah, peace. Islam, brothers. Yeah,
Islam,
my name is Brother Wise Cobra L, man. Calling from the Mecca territory. Yeah, brother, you really been keeping this whole thing alive, man. Let me just, really give you big ups for that, man, because
wow.
I'm a little bit younger than you, brother. I'm about 20, you know what I'm saying, and I'm working with the Moorish Holy Temple of Science right now, man. We're trying to, wake our people up from this zombified state, you know what I'm saying, but I had a question, brother, because, I've been, scratching my head on this thing, you know what I'm saying, for the longest. And I wanted to know, get both of you brothers' opinion on it. But, looking at everything that's been going on and the different people who have been empowered, you know what I'm saying, would you say that there's maybe still some remnants of a Moorish family running all of the so-called Jesuits and this and that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's us. It's me, it's you, it's everybody else. Like you specifically, they're calling your generation, for instance, they're calling the generation that's growing up now, they're calling them, they're calling them Generation Y, right? So the babies that come, so when you have babies, your babies, they're going to qualify them as Generation O, right? Mm-hmm. So you, as a conscious individual, negate their society just by having your consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? Because technically you're supposed to be dead, you're supposed to be gay, you're supposed to be in jail, right? That's what black women say. That's what white men say. That's what black men say, right? So technically you shouldn't exist. So the fact that you exist, you are what they call a living anathema to what their society naturally is, right? So essentially, by you, the more consciousness you get, the more you break down the society without even, if you never spoke a word about what you know to anybody else, the impact of what you know will still resonate and find a way to come out. So when the Prophet, peace be upon him, came, Nawaji Ali, and basically said, look, I'm waiting for the new Moors, right, to come, who will tell the old Moors to sit down, right, and then they will lead the fallen humanity into a brighter day. So that's literally us right now. That's a multi-generational family that for the most part is going to be melanated, but there's going to be some people that aren't. And they're going to be more willing to ride on anybody else just for the fact that they have the true awakening of what's going on than anybody else. So when they talk about the so-called Illuminati, right, what they're really talking about is a ideology. They're talking about a religion. They're talking about a way of life that is allegedly up until now was kept from you. So now that you know about it, they can't be secret. So if they're not secret, that means that anybody can be a part of it, which means technically then that it had to evolve from the original people. So when they talk about the Kohlberg Saxe-Gotha, which is the so-called Winters family's real name, what they talking about when you look at the coat of arms is that what you see? A big black head, the same big black head you see for the flag of Corsica, the same one you see. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's set up like that because they can only use what was left. It's like our situation is like this. It's like we had a crib and we got a letter that our cousin was in a fight.
Right.
And let's say you were in Brooklyn, you get a letter from your cousin. He's saying he got into a fight in Florida.
Right.
Jump on a plane and you go to Florida, but you tell the white boy that lives downstairs from you to hold the trip down till you get back.
Right.
While you're going, the white boy changed the locks. He take your shit from out of your name. He flipped the whole thing, and then he forged a letter saying that you gave him the right to do that because you were mentally incompetent.
Wow.
And then when you come back home, you try to use the same keys to get in, and you can't because those keys don't work no more because those keys were sovereign keys. The keys that you got to get now are the keys of the tenant because now he is your landlord because you left him in control of your assets when you knew that he didn't have the right to do that because he was not civilized enough, despite the Masonry shit, despite the Christianity shit, despite the Bible shit, despite the Yakub shit. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Despite all of that stuff, he only can do what he can do because all he got is this moment.
Right.
So when we say he, we're not even talking about the white man now. We're talking about anybody that's under the control of that type of low vibrational influence that the Prophet called, that Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, called the poison animal eaters. That don't mean if you eat animals you poison. It just means that if you eat them with a low vibration and you're not giving thanks for the animal, and by you giving thanks to that animal, what happens is you transmute the food and you allow the soul, the essence of that animal to get a higher birth. So if you just eating it just to eat it, just because you trying to fill your stomach and you're not giving thanks, eventually the low vibration aspect of the entities around you jump into that food and jump into you. And before you know it, you go from, going to the mosque to, becoming a church. Why?
Right. Right, that's some Christian black codes, right? I feel you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thanks for calling, my brother.
Yeah, peace, brother.
Peace, King. Thank you.
Okay. 919. Rock with Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Peace.
Hello?
Peace.
Peace. Hey, how's it going on, brothers?
Hey, King.
I was calling to speak about, I was listening to Dr. Devil Blair at one point in time, and he was saying about how most people here are now just returning souls. Nobody's really new people, but we're just returning souls from a past time. Could you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, thanks for calling, brother. In my understanding of those type of realms, this realm is a transient realm, meaning that it's fixed in a static state that is constantly in flux. So everything around you is vibrating at such a level that it is maintaining its space just by being there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yet, another way to explain this would be like it would be the difference between you being on the ground looking up at a plane. It looks like it's going mad slow, but that shit is going crazy fast. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're in the plane looking down, you see what I'm saying, you get the same perspective, only thing you're higher.
Yeah.
You see? So everything in terms of returning is actually its beginning. You know what I'm saying? Because there's really no such thing as the past. What we call the past is really just a fixed state of being that is transcended every moment that you go towards your own end. You see what I'm saying? So technically, it is impossible. So, for instance, if you wanted to build, the reason why most movies are time machines and stuff like that is BS, right? Is because the whole premise is based on light, right? So the idea is that light moves at a certain speed, 1,037 miles per hour, right? But 1 light year is 6 million miles, okay? So they're saying that light moves at 1,037 miles per second or hour or whatever, but then they're also saying that 6 million miles, light years, 6 million, let's say, light miles equal a light year. So what they're saying is that the light is moving based on the fact that it has to in order for it to be considered light, because if it stays still, it becomes darkness. Therefore, darkness is the constant, and therefore time travel then, in order for you to really get in a, let's say, a time machine and go back to the past, you could only, if you did that right now, you could only go to the point in which the time machine that you have traveled in existed. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Because you can't go beyond the distance of what you calculated the machine to do, and the machine can only calculate the distance from which it has traveled, like a GPS. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Therefore, you as a soul being live outside of all of that. You understand what I'm saying? So whether you reincarnated or not really doesn't matter. It only matters if you remember. And then if you remember, what then happens is you then create an alternate reality for you to now go into, because you are now outside of the realm of falling back into the same routine. So if you're a individual that's choosing to ascend in some way, then what you have chosen, what you essentially have done is created a demarcation, or you created a divergent reality now that all the other lives that you've lived up until this point may have always dreamt about, but never actively did. So now that you have actively done it, they all now have jumped into you through your central nervous system as the living fulfillment of all of what it is they have hoped for or believed or worked to get through you. Okay. And this is why, to expound and to wrap it up, this is why one black man or one black woman is symbolic to all of them. So when we see one of us, when we see Precious, right? We don't like that shit, because what that is it's promoting an agenda that low vibrational black people who are made in the image of a lower God, per se, are more susceptible to emulate, which is why after the Precious thing, you've seen all of the rash of black family killings going on. All of the black people killing their families and molesting and all that shit, because that's a trigger film. And who was behind the shit? Oprah, right? The same bitch behind Halle Berry, right? The same movie, the same nigga that did that, the gay guy that did that, and the same chick that set up the rape camp school in Africa. That some other lesbian African black woman is going to jail for. You see what I'm saying? So essentially, you are all your ancestors reincarnated, and if you choose to ascend beyond this, then all you have to do is learn, and internalize all that which is necessary for you to get to that level, not based on anybody else's level. Okay. All right. Appreciate it, man. No doubt, brother. Peace. Thank you. Peace, brother. Okay. That was a good question. Down to the last 10 minutes. Word. See how fast that shit go? Yeah. That's why they be hating on us with the beginning of the show. Yeah. They be really on their little technical thing with us. But it's cool, though. Yeah, they can only do but so much, So, I believe we have another caller in the queue. Cool. Peace. How you brother doing?
King Simon, man. Peace.
Hey, what's up, King Simon?
King Simon.
What's up, Fab? What's up? Sounding good. Sounding good, man. And you know, I seen the Dalai Lama on TV with Larry King. But, yo, just recently they were showing his old military pictures. What the heck is that all about? You see what I'm saying?
Brother, it's a great question, brother. That goes back to what we were talking about, man.
Exactly.
You know, the Dalai Lama that you see today is not the original Dalai Lama. The original Dalai Lama that was there, the Chinese shot in the head during the Chinese initial invasion of Tibet, in which they shot the dark-skinned golden child in the face with the help of a group of Tibetan monks that broke away from the right-hand path and so to follow the left-hand path. They were led by a guy, a Tibetan monk, and this specific monk trained a group of these Chinese guys, and then through the Chinese guys, the Nazis wound up hooking up with him through a guy named Heru. They made a movie about this guy called 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt. It's all about this movie. And essentially what it was is the whole Nazi thing was basically shepherded by these dark-skinned Tibetan monks that they call redhead monks. They call them redhead monks because of the red glow that they would get when they would employ their cheek, whereas the good monks got the golden glow, which is where we get the Last Dragon from, shown up in Bruce Leroy. You see what I'm saying? These are the monks that put the hit out on Bruce Lee. Okay? And the Dalai Lama that you see now was the left-head monk version of the redhead monk version or Nazi version of the real Dalai Lama. And they're the ones who supported the Tibetan institution and hooked them up with Israel. So Israel, Tibet, and Germany had a working relationship in the years leading up to World War II. And then after the war, they found, when they invaded the bunker, they found a bunch of monks, Tibetan monks in Germany, piled up around one specifically. This is what the movie The Golden Child was about. You know what I'm saying? So this Dalai Lama was a fake messiah that they manufactured for themselves to be their god once they took over Tibet, which would then allow them to get into the inner earth and do all the crazy shit they want to do there. Because remember, they're trying to find some place to go, to escape. So, yeah, this Dalai Lama is a Nazi, which is why he's around these Hollywood niggas. And he's also Jewish. And he is totally inclined with it. He's like the Messiah they tried to manufacture. The Theosophic Society tried to manufacture this guy named Christian Murray. But he rejected it. Another Messiah they created was Gandhi, who they patterned who they patterned Michael Luther King after. He was born Michael Luther King and changed his name to Martin once he got down with the whole Vatican shit. But thanks for that, brother. That was a great.
I know I had to pull it out because I knew the deal. I knew you was gonna go in on it. But you know, people waiting for you, man. May 1st is the time you coming in town, brother. So.
That's when we're gonna do it, brother. That's when we're gonna do it. Great day, May Day.
That's right, May Day. That's the election, and of course the workshop is the next day, the secret location, but the private location. So we'll definitely keep them up to date on that. All right.
That's what's up. Thanks for that plug, brother, and thanks for calling, man.
Well, keep on doing your work, man. We'll talk. All right. Peace.
All right, King. Peace.
Peace. All right, that was no call.
Cool.
313. You're rocking with Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, y'all. What's up, brothers?
Peace, King.
This is Duke.
Hey, what's up, brother? Yes,
okay, yeah.
Sir.
Hey, Duke, man. You got good knowledge, you know. You're one of my favorites, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, King, for the support, man.
Okay, brother. I'm on you every night. And I'm out here in Detroit, right? And you said that in the racial stuff, it seems all the black women got Arabs out here. You know, they won't even look at a black man. And it's really messed up, man. Make me feel bad when I see it.
Yes, it is, brother. But on one tip, what this means then is that the black women that are messing with original men are the ones that should be treasured. You know what I mean? Whereas the ones that's going out, it's actually better for us as a people because they have now chosen the bed that they want to incarnate through. So in essence, them choosing to be with the Caucasoid shows you where they are spiritually.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because remember, what's happening is that the black man and the black woman, they're trying to make us appear more inhuman. So those of us that support this interracial stuff, that's cool. If you love somebody, you love them. But if you are with this person and you are with them under the guise that you are a black man and she is a white woman, or she is a white man and you are a black woman or whatever, then you're under mind control. And your whole shit is based on racism. And your love is based on some infatuation that has a certain degree of fictionalized, mythological slavery aspects to it. Not saying slavery is mythological, but the idea that you have nowadays of slavery has become mythologicalized. You know what I'm saying? So they are really just showing us. It's kind of like if we were in a situation and it was going down and the line was drawn in the sand and those people that crossed the line was on that side and those was on this side. This is what they've done. Because right now, as much as they're doing this, these same black women that are doing this or whatever, they are under the assumption that, again, black men are dead, in jail, no good, whatever. So, again, you and I are physical representations of the lie that they tell themselves to be able to live the life they live in. So really, no matter how the more beautiful they are, because the white man always chooses the most beautiful one with the weakest mind.
Right.
She thinks she coming up, just like with the black man. He thinks he coming up, but really he knows and she knows that they reduce themselves to get something of a material value. Because there's a material value that comes with being with them. And if you're a black man or black woman and you're denying that, then again, I know you bullshitting. Then I know it's about the money. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Or it's about the status. Or it's about the taboo of it. Which again means that it's not about the individual or the interpersonal relationship. Because that shit is really an act of war nowadays. And it's a means of conquering. And it's a means of conquering because the things that I've seen these black women do for this white man, if you ask or me ask one of them to do that, see what I'm saying? They wouldn't unless, you see what I'm saying, you have certain things. And that's how she has been molded, just like that's how we have been molded, you know? So again, now I'm trying to reprogram myself where when I see it now, I'm actually thankful that she's choosing to be on that level because now that's one less original person or half original person I got to worry about infecting the rest of us with this bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
okay,
with
brother.
that, I say peace, brother.
Okay, thanks, dude. You know, may the great mother bless you, brother.
Thank you, Father.
All right, peace.
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 Yes, sir. We down the last 2 minutes.
What's up?
Now. So, you know, I'd like to thank all the listeners once again, you know, for checking in. And, you know,
thanks for bearing with us for all the technological stuff.
Yeah, you know, today was a very interesting day dealing with the whole blog talk, but, you know, we made it through. Everything, you know, seemed to smooth itself out after a while, and, you know, we got a chance to, you know, be with the people for another episode of Super Heru Radio, and we thank you for, you know, checking in and listening.
Indeed. So, thank you again, everyone. Give thanks to my queen. Give thanks to my children. Hopefully y'all listening. If you are, holler at me. You know what I mean, if you can. And also, let's give a shout-out to all of those who have perished recently, all of the children who have gone through ritual sacrifice and satanic abuse, all types of precious rituals they've been inflicting or we've allowed them to inflict on us. Let's raise this vibration, get up out of here. You can holler at me at www. Or if you want to get any of the stuff we talked about on any DVDs or any other products we got, we're going to have the Super Heru Radio T-shirts soon, y'all. So we'll have those on the website, both mine and my brother's. And you can holler at me at www.aseer.com. My brother, Sagasat, give me a joint. Excuse me.
You can holler at me at sagaasadali.blogspot.com. I mean, I posted it up in the joint, and you can also email me at saga@asad@gmail.com.
Indeed. You know, with that, say peace to all the ancestors. I say all of the intergalactic brothers and sisters that's tuning in all the way from Sirius, Rigel, Arcturus, Andromeda, Lyra, you know what I'm saying? Also look out, research G1.9. It's the thing that's coming from behind the sun. People need to be aware of that. That's the government classification of it. You need to start doing the knowledge because it's your ancestors coming to pick y'all up. So let's get ready, y'all. Super Heru Radio.
Peace.
Peace.